Alrighty. Okay. Well, welcome to our last, I say last, but last call before the cruise. And if you guys are finding value in these calls every week, we can continue after we get home from the cruise. So we can talk about that. But I want to talk about a few things. So do you guys, I'm going to move this back because it's distracting to me to be looking at only one of you. I move it back. Okay, there we go. On our very first call, we talked, I had you guys actually rate yourselves in 4 areas. And we did an audit, just like we did an audit last week with Jessica, which I thought was fantastic. It's always best if we can have our own epiphanies from questions asked us, right? So I pulled some really interesting things away personally from that call last week. If you weren't on or didn't catch the recording yet, make sure you go listen. It was phenomenal. Um, but anyways, I had you guys rate yourselves in the 4 areas. Okay, so the pillars of our businesses are recruitment, retention, duplication, and leadership. And I want to swing back to that because leaders reflect, right? Jessica said that last week. She said, well, yeah, she just said leaders reflect. Like good leaders are reflectors, and it's really really important to take a step back. And one thing, I used to be on like a once a week Jewel call that Genevieve hosted, and I just appreciated it because she would like bring a level of recalibration because I'm willy nilly running here and there, doing things, nooking and crannying my business, and then she would like facet of my business give me like another way of looking at things or another like action step to take. Can you guys hear me? My internet is unstable once again. Are we good? Or am I cutting out? Okay. All right. So anyways, I wanted to swing back around to the 4 pillars because it's such an important piece of our business. I mean, and it is the whole of our business, right? And so I want you guys to go back and reflect about those 4 areas of your business. And so when you think about recruitment, a couple of things to think about is, do you have a system in place for yourself for recruitment? And so when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about, well, my system for recruitment, like a few like blaring things to me would be PLLP, myself, posting, lists, live, and then parties, which could totally be the Monday and Thursday calls. But like just having those benchmarks where it's not like this mystery system thing. It's just like I do the same thing every single day or throughout the week, right? So having a good system in place for recruiting for yourself. Retention, customer care. That's a huge piece of this. And I would also add to that recognition. If you guys have other ideas, pipe them in the chat because we can definitely, there's more than one way or one sub item under these pillars. But one thing that I've been doing this past week, in the past 2 weeks, is focusing in more on customer care. And actually, I know we did this at the retreat, but I worked so well off of reports. If you guys aren't working off of monthly reports, start doing it. It will help you so much because these are portable. You don't have to like be in front of your computer a certain time of day. Like you can literally throw them in your purse or your bag or whatever and take them with you here, there, and everywhere as you're, living life. And one thing that I've been doing is just kind of going through because I have so many customers, which is great. But like some of these people, like I hadn't talked to in a long time, and I've relied on Project Broadcast for my customer care system, which is fantastic. But I was like, you know what? I need to personally connect with these people, not because my Project Broadcast is a little bit more like, hey, there's a special, and so I don't want to spend 3 hours on an afternoon messaging individual people about a special, right? Project Broadcast can take care of that. But going back through and just asking, hey, how's your product regimen going? And I have so many people that consistently order month after month. Some of them I don't even know who they are. I think they've compressed up to me, or I'm not even sure. And sometimes people don't respond back, but I have been intentionally sending some message of like I've messaged through my lists, just with not a yes or no question either, like Jennifer was talking about, but just a sweet touching base message, and then just because I want to know where they're at, how's their product regimen going. Some of these people I would love to stoke the fires and see if I can get a little +1 from any of them if they're having, obviously they're having a good experience. but just cracking open those conversations. So I know it probably goes without saying with customer care at this level, but there's seasons where you may have more time to invest in that customer care piece, and it's worth it. And so one little report that Amanda sent over that she's never actually pulled for me, but she did this past month, was she pulled a report of anyone that has a subscription that's bumped out to March or after, and which those are buried in these reports also. But it was just actually really helpful to see, like, who are my people that bumped out their sub from, well, they didn't have a sub on for January, but it's bumped out to March. Who's in April, who's in May, who's in December of 2026, right? So I just think sometimes going back through and having conversations, and I'm having great combos with people. My friend Veronica was like, "Oh yeah, my husband really loves Triplex and the Omega. I need to get back on the products." She was one of my OG people also, and she doesn't order that consistently anymore. I was noticing, but she told me she wanted to get restarted. So it's just like some of those conversations. I think sometimes we can get so outward focused, which is great. That sometimes we need to like turn around and look at another little facet of our business that we need to work on. So under the retention piece, just evaluate, like, how is your customer care doing? I feel like all of us could probably say it could be a little better. And I highly recommend having Project Broadcast so that you can funnel your new people into some sort of new customer care system, and that doesn't have to be 100% dependent on you. It can roll whether you have a crazy week or not, and then you can kind of follow up on Facebook Messenger or however you normally do it. Another thing would be recognition. I would recognize the heck out of your people. If you have a wholesale team right now, recognize the heck out of them. Whatever that looks like. Maybe you have a customer chat and you can just be like, oh my word, so-and-so, whatever their name, and then like they've been consistent for 3 months. Like you could look at different angles of your business to recognize whatever it is that you can celebrate in your business, or for people, maybe for consistency, maybe if you do like a little blitz where you contact all your customers and just say, hey, I am doing a little not recon, but I'm doing a little survey, and I'm checking in with all my Plexus customers today, and I would love to hear what your product experience has been thus far. Tell me the good, the bad, the ugly. I like using that little phrase because like they don't have to only reply back with only wins, but I want to hear all the things. And so then from there, you could, highlight some wins of your customers in your customer chat. More of a public, it's still private, but setting like that. If it's someone that you're like, oh my goodness, like I had no idea you had all these wins, would you be okay if I shared in my stories? And you could just tag them in their stories. So it kind of like gets them used to like, maybe I'd be okay with sharing, even if you don't point blank ask them to like go make a post if you don't feel like they're ready for that, or if you just kind of want to dip toes in and see if they'll be okay with you screenshotting and just like, look at my customer wins, oh my goodness, and it could be anonymous. It doesn't even have to have their name. So I'm just throwing out some ideas here. Okay, duplication. All right, I feel like this is the big topic that everyone's like, I want more duplication. Honestly, it's so for me, duplication to me is PLLP. That's how I keep it super simple in my brain. And I have lists of people. They're not right in front of me right now. They're my planner, but lists of people, and your newer people, like in the last 90 days, like do you have a map of who those people are and how many of them have taken any step of the PLLP? And I would look at one through threes, 1 through 4s, 1 through 5s, because like your team isn't just dependent on like only your level 1s. Like if you have people under people, I would be stoking what I call stoking the fires, where you can light a bunch of little tiny fires everywhere all around your team simply by asking. see if they'll make a little post. And it's that almost like you're putting your brain on someone else's, it doesn't even have to be their business yet, just someone else's network, where you're trying to tap in to your people's people, right? And so a little avenue to do that would be like, see if they'll throw a little story carousel into their stories, or hey, I know you're having good results. Like if I sent you what to say, would you be willing to make a post? And like it's literally sending the verbiage and asking them. And then it's doing that for like in your 3-ways. Like say Desiree is trying to go silver. So then we're in the 3-way going, hey Desiree, go send this message to your people, to all your customers that you just signed. You have 9 or whatever, no, 2 or 3 customers. Go send this out to them, and let's see if any of them will make a post. So it's like you're not just doing this for your people, but like you're getting your people's people to do the same. Because they may not have on their brain, oh, I should ask them to make a post. And even a step farther of, oh, I should send the verbiage of what they're going to say and ask them to make the post, if that makes sense. So, like, where you're kind of the wizard behind the screen, people see your team in momentum and in motion and reality. You've been planting these little seeds and sharing these ideas and giving some verbiage. Sometimes it's just a quick little pop of like, hey, I was thinking about you today. I had this crazy idea. Well, let me know if you're open to it. So it's like even sometimes just putting a little pop out to a sometimes sharer on your team, where you pop in and you're like, hey, and they message back and they're like, hey, well, what's up? What's your idea? And they're like, okay, I have this crazy idea about you and me going live. You will go live and then you'll invite me onto your screen and then we'll just do a back and forth about your product experience so far. And you can be mixing up your pink drink. I can be mixing up mine. Like, I think it'd be fun and we'll just share it through people. So sometimes it's like you just being that little sparkler of ideas. Now, is 100% of the people you ask going to do it? No, but you're looking for the few that will, right? And maybe that's making a post, maybe that's going live, maybe it's doing a little carousel in their stories. I do that all the time with newer people. They may not be ready for the rally chat, or they may not be in there yet. And so just pull like a story carousel, or if you just put a story carousel up, then my thought is always like, oh, who else of my new people could I get to pop this in their stories too? You see what I mean? So you being the duplicator, at least at this point, you're kind of like you're you have the most energy of anyone on your team for duplication because you care about it because you're trying to build it, right? Even if they're not really interested at this point, you may connect with someone that they're connected to that ends up taking off with it, right? So, anyways, okay, so duplication and then leadership. So, and this is something that I feel like is so important. That you've got to put an earbud in your ear and be listening to something because, like we learned, I think it was Carissa last week on that call. She was just saying, like, we don't have to try to be discouraged. Like, it just comes naturally if we're not putting ourselves in a position to be encouraged through, hopping on a call or popping an earbud in, or messaging your sponsor and getting their perspective over this, that, or the other in our business, right? So, okay, so if you can drop in the chat what you're currently listening to for personal growth, you can do that because I would love for everyone to kind of share. Or we can also share it in the chat too, like on our Facebook Messenger chat. I think for anyone that's not on the call, it'd be helpful to hear like what you're listening to podcast wise or whoever you're listening to. Okay, Madison, I know you've got to go, so I'm gonna turn it over to you real quick, and then I'll share some more ideas.
Okay, sorry, I was just popping something in the chat. I'm actually reading, I went to Align, Brooks Align, and so I'm reading The Art of Bouncing Back by Coach Dar, and it's really good. She gave us like a whole bunch of books to read, so happy to share any of those if anybody wants them. But okay, so Megan asked me to pop on today and talk a little bit about can y'all hear me good? Yeah, okay. About like rank up strategy because as you know, I'm sure last year in February I double ranked Ruby Senior Ruby on the last day of the month. So I specifically wanted to talk about this because I know that everyone is leaving for the cruise. I'm so sad I won't be there, but this little guy's totally worth missing it for. But anyways, so a lot of people, and I hear this a lot about like if they're going to be gone for something throughout the month, whether it's plexus related or not plexus related, they'll say like, oh, I'm going to be gone this week, or I'm going to be gone that, or I'm going to be gone at the end of the month or whatever. And that doesn't necessarily have to determine the fate of your month. Like, so just to back up a little bit, last year I went senior gold in December, after being gold for 3 years, not even gold for 3 years. And then I earned a leaders retreat. I think actually in November I earned a leaders retreat before I was even senior gold. And that was kind of a pivotal moment for my business, leaders retreat was. It was a super crazy hectic time in my life. We were building a house, we were selling our house, we found out we were pregnant. And then all of a sudden we're leaving our babies for the first time ever, going to Punta Cana. I was freaking out. I was like, this is gonna be horrible. Like, what if we die? And Angie and David are on the plane too. Like, what do we do? And so I had a lot of emotions going into leaders retreat last year. But this can literally be a pivotal moment for your business if you allow it to. If you just say, oh, I'm going to be gone the last week of the month. Woe is me. Like, my business is going to flounder. What am I going to do? No one's going to be able to, like, I'm not going to be able to talk to anyone. I'm going to be on a ship. I'm not going to have Wi Fi. Then that's exactly how your month is going to end. And last year, when we went to Punta Cana, we were in Punta Cana when my points for the first time ever hit 300. And it was an insane time because at that moment I was with Angie and she was like, "Oh, you're going Ruby this month. We are doing this Ruby thing." And I'm like, "Crap, I just went senior gold after 3 years. What are you talking about? Like, I'm happy as senior gold." She's like, "Oh, no, you're going Ruby." And so we could have just let our trip totally stop us in our tracks and not continue on to make this big push. But instead, we literally like basically monetized the trip. I posted, I shared what we were doing, where we were going, what we were wearing, like the parties. It was Aaron's first Plexus trip, and even he was like, "I can't believe this! Like, this is amazing. These parties are so cool, and they're feeding us." And anyways, so instead of just stopping dead in my tracks, I just filmed everything, videoed everything, posted everything, and totally was still able to enjoy myself. We sat at the pool, we went to the beach, we went to the parties, whatever. But I still, in the background, I was the only person on my team to earn Leaders Retreat last year. This year, I don't even know. I think the number's like probably close to 10 people earned it. There's a couple that unfortunately earned it at the end, so didn't make the ship, but I think it might even be more than 10 people. So last year, myself earned it. This year, like 10 people earned it. And not only that, I swept the contest this year. I'd never swept a contest other than um convention last year. That was the first contest I ever swept. So and not only did I sweep it this year, but I've had, I think, maybe 4 other people sweep it. So it's just like an amazing, amazing thing that last year I was going by myself. I was praying for a team. I was praying for moms. I was praying for people that had the same heart that I did to care for people, to help people financially or with their health. And so all of it has just been like, a prayer. I've prayed for so long of helping people, and the people I wanted on my team and the people that I prayed for are who is here with me now, and who is coming to my team now. And so it's just a testimony to the power of prayer and also like getting my butt in gear because I was actually riding my Peloton today and I was thinking I wasn't going to share this, but it like came to my mind. So I had a weight loss journey that none of this would have been possible without that journey. And I was so angry that I had been barely 100 pounds my entire life. Like I could not gain weight. And then here I am, like 40 pounds overweight. And so I was angry, like, God, why in the world? Or like, why me? Why can I not lose weight like everyone after pregnancy? I don't understand. And what I didn't know is all of that was prepping me and priming me to have an emerald team one day. I didn't know when, but it was all priming me for that. And so here I am again, another baby, another weight loss journey. I'm upstairs riding the fat off my body on my Peloton, okay? And so, because I'm determined, I turned 30 in June, y'all, and I'm going to be in the best shape ever. I'm going to be stronger than ever. I'm going to have visible muscles popping out of my body. Okay. Like this is all happening by the time I'm 30 in June. So I'm upstairs riding my Peloton and I have this thought because like, if you have Peloton, they're like telling you exactly what to do, exactly like there's no like there's a rhyme or reason for what they're telling you to do because it's building your muscle, it's building your endurance and your intensity and all of these things. And if you just like like actually set mine to make it go on its own so that I don't have a choice to slack off. But if you just sit there and don't do what they tell you and you're just like da 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 da, like on your phone, whatever, your body is not going to change because you're not really doing the hard things to make it change.
Ready? You
No,
fall asleep on me? Take a little
Melody,
nappy? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
you're fine. I got you. Actually, I don't. You're gonna have to mute yourself. I hope Murphy has a good nappy. Anyways, so if you don't do the things they're telling you to do, you're not gonna have the result that you want to have because they're the professional, they're the trainer. And so on my bike, I was having this epiphany that like this is exactly like our Plexus business. You have all of these leaders telling you exactly what to do. And I think previous to a year ago, I was always looking for that one person that was going to give me that one magic pill that was going to blow my business up, blow my business out of the water. The one thing, the one magic combination or the magic word to say to the right person that was going to blow my business out of the water instead of just listening to what our amazing leaders have taught us over and over and over again. And once I started putting into action what I was hearing instead of just like pedaling stagnant on the Peloton, like my business started to grow. And it was also a combination of consistency and things like that I had been doing for a long time. But if I wouldn't have started putting into practice what I was learning and being taught, I would have stayed in the same place. And I was literally thinking that on my bike today. I was like, shoot, this is such a good learning opportunity. Like, why have I not thought of this before? So just do what you're told. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to come up with something new. You just have to be willing and coachable and be okay with growing and being uncomfortable. Okay. So all of that to say, you can let this week of being out of town either build your business or you can let it stop you in your tracks for a week because you're going to be out of commission. So my advice is, I sent this to all my leaders today. I think I was annoying them because when you like text people and they don't respond, but you text them like 12 times in a row and then you're like, ugh, that probably wasn't good. So I'm texting my leaders. I'm seeing all of these things pop up in the Jewel page about like basically monetizing your leaders retreat, like really putting it out there and like strategy on how to do it and how to be present and still have fun on leaders retreat. And so I'm like finding all these videos and seeing all of these things and I'm just like copy paste to all of my leaders. So I'm like looking back and I have like 12 messages to them and they haven't responded once and I'm like, oops, that's kind of embarrassing, but they needed every one of them. So, anyways, if y'all haven't seen that, Megan might have already, I have like 4 million chats, y'all. So if she's already popped it in the chat, I'm sorry, but I am happy to pop what I have found into the chats. I know Christina Williams has she has a guide. Aubrey, what's the other ladies? Aubrey, what?
That's one. I popped that in our chat, and then
Okay.
Brittany and Christina did a training, I think highlighting a couple girls that have done some crazy, amazing things since the last one.
Yeah.
So yeah, but feel free to pop what you popped in your leader chat and in our
Okay.
chat so that we make sure that we see all the things.
Well,
Yeah.
because like, this is the perfect opportunity. Like, I truly, in my heart, believe that when people saw me last year at Leaders Retreat in Punta Cana and that it was real, and that who in my mind, this was in my mind, okay, I was just a senior gold. I'm just a senior. You're not just anything. Like, you have worked hard to get where you are. Be proud of it. Enjoy it in the moment because it can all change so fast. And then you never enjoyed where you were. You all like, Angie always tells me, remember when you couldn't wait to be where you are right now? And I'm like, ugh, that's annoying. But it's true. It's true. So, do you have the opportunity right now to explode your business with Leaders Retreat? To blow it up, be posting multiple times a day about it. I don't care if you have 40 little tiny stories, all of the ship and of the shopping spree and of everything else. Like, use it. And if you cannot go like me, I'm going to be using other people's. So I will be at the shopping spree. So I'll definitely be blasting that out because I've never got to do that before. Last year I barely made it to Punta Cana, like by the hair on my chinny chin chin. But this year we blew it out of the water. So I'm going shopping this year. Me and Madeline are flying out on Saturday and then flying home on Monday. But anyways, I hope that's helpful. And yeah, I'll pop anything that's not already in that chat in there because they're really useful. And sometimes like there might be multiple guides, but one might be like better for you than the other, like might be more your style or whatever. But like for the love, please, please don't let this stop you because I believe people saw it last year and that's part of what exploded my business in the end of February and March.
100%. Yeah, totally agree. And thank you for sharing that. I think that sometimes when we're on the trips, people forget, they just get in like vacation mode. And we have to remember, like, we have a business that's contingent on, like, the trips are there for us to market them. And Plexus does a fantastic job of creating these amazing events, and we need to showcase them, right? People aren't there to experience it with us, so we can take them with us, right? Through our social media. And I agree. Like when we travel, people like really perk up and you never know who's watching and who has been watching you. And I remember Lisa Winter saying, like, seeing us earn stuff, which doesn't feel like it feels second nature to me to like post or share about, the spree or, the financial gain or whatever. But people that are watching, like our audience, like that's intriguing to them. Right. And so we have to also, when we're posting or sharing, we have to think about like who is watching that it like, because not everybody's going to be inspired to go work a business because of a post about a probiotic. Right. A lot of people aren't going to be even able to know that there is an opportunity, right, unless we talk about it. So I think yeah, that's so good. And
Megan, quick,
yeah.
can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Also, don't let this be in a short month stop you either or get you down because literally I barely hit Ruby on the 28th last year. And then on the 29th, I hit Senior Ruby. So you don't know what's going to happen and how fast it's going to happen. So don't just like psych yourself out. You're like, oh, well, maybe next month. It's a short month. Like, no, don't do that. You don't know what can happen in a short month. Like the most bizarre month ever to double rank, and it happened. So you really just don't know.
And it was a leap year. I don't remember any other leap year in all of my 56 years, but by golly, I remember last year's leap year.
You really use that you needed that extra day for like
I
all
needed the extra.
So that's reminding me of something really quick. So I just had popped in the thread that I just finished listening to The Power of One More by Ed Milet. Phenomenal book. I've never taken so many notes. But I also heard him speak recently at Life Surge. And so I was like, I knew who he was, but he was drawing me in. And his book, The Power of One More, it just hit me. I'm like, last February, there was the power of one more day and just taking advantage of that. And I was thinking about everyone being on the cruise and like when Madison and I were in, several of you were in Punta Cana last year. And just thinking about there's a difference between someone being interested and someone being committed. And by that point, Madison was really committed. Like she was interested before, like she won the iPad or she won the Apple Watch or whatever. Those are like those little carrots that pop up along the way. But a huge difference between somebody being interested in what we're doing and someone who is actually committed. And when you're interested in doing something, you only do it when it's convenient, right? But when you're committed, you do it when it's inconvenient. You will not accept any other result except for success. Like you're going to keep doing it. You're going to keep lifting your lid. You're going to keep lifting others up. And I really feel like that was a huge part of Madison's success is that she continued to lift other people up all along the way. She was selling them a dream. They were seeing it. She was casting that vision and they were grabbing a hold of that. And that's the thing is that we actually need to sell the dream. not what it's not necessarily how we're loving it, but casting that vision for others through our social media, whatever platform that is for you, when you're talking to people, not just, oh my gosh, but look what this can do for you. And 100%, I know that was a massive part of Madison's success and continues to be, is because she is selling that dream to others of what it could be. And she's not just interested, but she's committed. So there's my preaching for for these 5 minutes. I'll see what I've got next.
Yeah, so good. So I remember Jessica, every time we would be in Hawaii, she was like, message your 5 dream teamers now. Like, go message them, because everybody's eyeballs perk up when you're traveling. And so anytime you travel, honestly, you need to, as a network marketer, be really just willing to be focused on the marketing part of what you're doing and what you're experiencing, because that's like, people are interested in the travel piece, right? Oh, Madison just typed in another thing. Another thing that she's doing is writing out all go oh, all of my, I think she said, all of my dream teamers and praying over them. Yeah, writing them out, and even just being aware of like who you're looking for, and having a list of those people so that you can be interacting with them on their walls, because then their algorithm's gonna show your stuff into their feeds more. So, okay. We'll get those other things popped in the chat so you guys can check out all that stuff too. The resources are fantastic. I feel like there's such a amazing team of jewels and diamonds that are willing to create stuff for everybody else's help, and just to have the tools, in our toolbox, because some things that are so natural and easy for some people to do and share and say are not necessarily a second nature for everybody, right? So it's helpful just to kind of see what other people are doing and saying so that you can duplicate. Okay. Also, I wanted to talk about 2 other things specifically, but one thing I will say, I had a conversation this morning with somebody, and so interesting. It was all about expectations. And I know Angie, we've chatted about this also, and I've probably chatted about different facets of it with different ones of you, but sometimes in this business, we can have certain expectations. And I just want to say, when our expectations don't match reality, or vice versa, when reality doesn't match our expectations, we can get discouraged, right? And so I just want to keep you guys mindful of the fact that not everybody has a really, really fast journey. Not everybody has a really, really slow journey. Everyone has their journey in Plexus and in their business. And as an entrepreneur, some people have a whole backstory of, building their network, relationships built over years or decades, and they come in and can blow this up really fast. And depending on what people want, right? And so sometimes I think we can get discouraged and feel like we're not doing a good job, when in reality, we're just working through our journey, however long that is supposed to take, right? And that's the frustrating thing sometimes, is we don't know how long it's going to take. And I totally experienced this on my reentry, because my going reentry Emerald took me much longer than it took me to go Diamond the very first time. And there's lots of different factors at play there too. But I will just say, I want to encourage you guys to stay focused on your journey, not to compare too much. I think it's fine to get ideas, glean ideas, listen to what people are doing. But when we have this idea that because our journey wasn't as fast, or isn't going as fast as so-and-so, that we're not doing it right, or there's something wrong with us, or, just this kind of like this discontent welling up. And I am the first one that will say that grateful discontentment is totally fine. You don't want it to get out of hand to the fact where you're to the point where you're feeling discouraged and not able to take action, right? And I think that a hallmark of a good entrepreneur is a little bit of like that fire in your belly. I'm not content at whatever rank it is that you're at, right? So there's a level to that. But I also just want to encourage you guys that you want to make sure, protect your mindset, protect your energy, protect what you're saying. I think maybe we talked about this on the last call too, or maybe Angie and I were just talking about it. How like what comes out of our mouths can like be blessing our businesses or cursing it. And it's so important, not that we can't have a space to like, oh my goodness, this was so frustrating, or oh my goodness, like this has been happening in my business, but in general we want the like atmosphere around our business to be, you know, filled with positive words and uplifting and like hope filled, right? And sometimes like we're in a season where we haven't recruited a business builder in a long time, or and sometimes that's a reflection of like last week we learned, well, it's probably a reflection of what we're talking about the most, right? If we're signing up mostly product users, then we're probably mostly talking about products, which isn't a bad thing. It's not like you can't build a business that way. You can, but in our businesses, having the two pieces to our business, right? Our client base, our client base piece, and then also the network marketing part where it's the team building part, right? And so I think it just depends on like what are we wanting to go after. And I think you can do both at the same time also. Anyways, just wanted to remind everybody to protect your mindset, protect your mind, and then which also impacts like what is coming out of our mouth in regards to our business. And it's okay to be gratefully discontent because we're wanting to move forward and push forward. But in this type of business, we need people to do that with. And Angie, you can pipe in here too if you're having some ideas. But if what is kind of oozing out of our pores is not high energy, excitement, enthusiasm, motivation, like even like how we post, I think like the spirit behind what we're feeling or who we are like comes through. And so, and I can see this sometimes with a new person that's like so desperate to get silver, and I'm like, your messages feel that way. Like you gotta lighten it up a little bit, right? And so I think it's that just like the reflecting piece, like what we're doing with, let's look at the pillars of our business: recruitment, retention, duplication, leadership, right? I think the same thing we can reflect on, like, okay, how am I coming across to my audience? Like, am I showing up excited and happy and you know, enthusiastic for what I'm creating? And that in and of itself, I think is so attractive and will attract people to you because I don't even know how to say it without sounding weird, but like you're jiving with the same energy, like those same wavelength. And how many people on your team do you crack up at because they're kind of like you? I chuckle sometimes because I'm like, I could pinpoint like specific people on our team that I'm like, she's like cut from the same cloth as me. This is so funny. And I can see it within teams even. Like it's just so interesting. And so I feel like it's one of those like attracts like thing, and why it's so important to keep growing ourselves and growing our leadership. Okay, I did want to talk about some really important systems to have in place before you go Emerald. And then I also wanted to talk about the back half of February strategy. I'll blitz through it really fast, but I wrote down some things. So really quick, just some systems in place. You guys may already have this down and done and doing it. If so, totally fine. But I just wanted to remind everybody in like a group setting, a few things before you go Emerald. Make sure that you meet with your tax advisor. Before you go Emerald, I just remember that being advice given to us. I know it's funny to think about it when you're like at the senior gold or ruby space thinking, well, that's going to be a long time. Well, not necessarily. Like things can change so fast in this business, and you want to make sure that you're prepared. Because I've known people that like don't meet with a tax advisor and like they don't do that till well after their Emerald, and it's not good. And it's better if you can be prepared ahead of time for a big jump in your income. So
I'm going
reminder
to
there.
pipe something in there really quickly, Megan. I'm going to post this in the threads, but this Thursday, I think it's at 6:30 Eastern. My CPA is doing a Zoom with my team, and I was going to open it up to everyone to hop on so that you could, she's going to have a presentation, but she's also opening it up to questions. And even if you don't live in the state of Tennessee, some of the things will be standard, but it's always good to check with the tax professional in the state you live in, because Tennessee, and there's one other state where there's a couple things that are a little bit different, but overall it's mainly the same. So if I forget to add that to our chat threads, remind me. And I wanted to tell you ladies so that you could, if that time works for you, you could hop on. And of course I will record it. But if you have questions have them ready and you can ask them on the call.
Mm-hmm. Two things that I think that are really important, you guys. Not everybody that comes into a business like this has, one, sales experience, and two, like business knowledge. And so, and even if you're a business owner in other, in other businesses, I do think this is unique. And it's good to just expand our skill set and our knowledge set over sales, for one, and helping people on our team understand and learn sales. And then two, just business ownership, like entrepreneurship, tax info. And of course, it's always what we need to say is meet with your professional, but even just being on a call where like, oh, I had no idea that was a facet of a piece of my business that I could be utilizing, or a write-off I could be doing. I never thought about that, and I feel like it opens up our us. This is unique.
Can you guys understand her, or is it just me?
This is the tech history.
Meg, we can't understand you.
It's probably it's my internet. Can you hear me? Okay, hang on. Is it any better?
Keep talking. You're muted.
Is it still,
Recording
is
in
it still weird?
progress.
I think I'm still.
So on your phone, unmute and mute yourself on your computer. There you go.
Yeah, except I gotta mute this. Hang on.
Okay, that's better.
There we go. Okay, better. I think it's still recording.
Yeah.
So we'll just hope that we're good.
It's better for sure.
Oh shoot, now it like totally picked me off. Okay. Anyways, it might come back on. I don't know if it'll still be recording.
It's still recording. It says it is.
Okay. Okay, phew. All right, well, anyways, I just think it's really important as business owners, and in such a unique business like this, so that not just for our own knowledge, but for people on our teams to like understand sales better, understand business better, understand the benefits of having their own business. And anyways, Robert Kiyosaki, I think that was the book that he was recommending. He's like, even if you don't do network marketing for any other reason except to get the skills and to have the benefits of having your own business, there's a lot of benefits to it. And so I feel like if we can be knowledgeable about this, the better off we are and the better off our teams are. Anyways, so good. Okay. Is that everything you want to say about that, Ange? Okay. Alrighty. So, go back to systems, having systems in place. So number one, meet with a tax professional before you go Emerald. Number two is to set up project broadcast. I know I probably have mentioned this so many times, but I just want to make sure everyone has the little tip off to get that set up so that you are in a place where you can scale your business. Because I know that there's still some that are on the call that have not done that yet, and I think it's really, really important. I actually recommend it around the senior golds rank, and it gives you scalability in your business. So like, say you have 1, 2, 3, 4 business builders come in, and your business like quadruples in a really, really short amount of time. If you have some systems in place like Project Broadcast, then you're not like, oh my word, everyone, what are we going to do for systems, and what are we going to do for, contacting all these people? Which, when you have good leaders come in, they're going to be taking care of their people also, but it's also just a good setup to have. That way you can maximize your time as well. So you're not sitting there messaging 100 level ones about the special. That can be a Project Broadcast, boom, done, and you can move on to, coaching people, helping people troubleshoot on their products, helping new people rank up, hosting events, coaching, things like that. Okay, also wanted just to mention the system of having a percentage for giving, right? We always talk about how we're blessed to be a blessing. And so, having percentages in place in your business, then make it scalable also, because as your business grows and as your income grows, then those percentages stay the same, but your amount can grow within those, right? Same idea with investing back into your team. And I'll just say this because I feel like it was a huge piece of the early momentum, but we we were always doing like different giveaways, different like fun things to keep things rolling and keep people excited. And so get ideas from me or Angie or Brandy or whoever, for putting out little fun things, right? And having a short, like 24-hour blitz or 48-hour blitz, like to create some urgency. So, and maybe it's just like giveaway posts or product tester posts, or, you know, different things like that. Or maybe a little incentive that you put out to like, maybe encourage people to listen to a call or to hop on, the Monday or Thursday calls. Maybe it's motivating or incentivizing your team to take action, right? So anyways, if you have a percentage that's already preset, then you're like, okay, well, I have enough in the budget to do, you know, a water bottle giveaway or Plexus swag giveaway, or, you know, this or that. So be thinking of those things now as a senior gold or a ruby, and even doing some of them, right? Because then as your team grows and you grow into your emerald team and into your sapphire and diamond team, you already have some of those things in place, and it's just rinse, wash, repeat, and just on a larger scale, right? With more people. Okay. And I think also around the ruby stage is when, and this doesn't have to be this is not a negative thing, but sometimes where it feels more like, okay, I have a business now, right? And I don't say that to like scare anybody, but also to be like, there's a level of intention that comes when we know that we have a business and we're intentionally working towards something, right? So there's a level of intention and care. There's a level of energy that flows towards that. I think also when we are treating this more like a business than a hobby, it becomes a priority, right? And where there's more like designated brain space for your business. And also I feel like that's where creativity comes in as well. Okay. All righty. We good to go, Phil? All right, 5 minutes. We can do this. All right, so I wanted to talk about February, second half of February strategy, because we're rolling into March. Like it or not, it's coming. And so, like just like Madison said, things can still totally happen in a short month. And sometimes that's even better because we don't have all these extra days after the end of the month, right? we can maximize the time that we have now. It's like sometimes in those middle weeks, I think is where discouragement pops up. So make sure that you're encouraging your new sharers. Make sure you're encouraging the people that are like in the middle of their products right now, because we're middle of the month. That's usually the popular time for people to get discouraged. But I wrote down a few things. So February second half rank or strategy is to look at the core rank. Okay, our core rank is senior silver in your levels 1 through 5. Okay. And I want you to look at and actually write down the names of the people on your teams that are between like 25 and 45 points that have never gone senior silver. Like that is a huge area of focus for your business. And it doesn't matter if they're not your level ones. Like tap, 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 and like just get a list of those names. And so you're going to make a list of those names. So, and then another group of people that we want to be looking at the second half of February is who can qualify for Gold School, right? Because we have Gold School, I think it's March 22nd virtually, and we want as many people getting qualified for that as possible. And right, like people in their first 3 ranks in Plexus, like it doesn't matter what the month is like. It doesn't matter if it's a short month, if it's a historically slow month. People hitting their war market can go silver, senior silver, and gold fast. Like they totally can. And so I would look at who can be your Gold School qualifiers, who can rank up, who can re-rank also, right? So look at those people that are like between 50 and 95 points. Okay. All right. And then some of you may have some people that are around that super gold rank. We made that up about 175 points, and look and see who's like beyond gold points, but hasn't hit, maybe they have never hit 150, or maybe they're in that no man's land, right? 150, 160 points. They're not that far away, but sometimes as the numbers increase, it's almost like they can't see the forest for the trees. And they need someone in their space going, you only need 7 orders to go super gold. It's our fun little made up rank that, you know, we're going to make that our benchmark for this month. Like, what are your thoughts? Are you game? right? And then help them map that out, like what that looks like. And it's going to take front loading, right? Because we don't have any days after subs process, after the 28th. So, and then another bucket to look at would be the refresh earners. So personally, your personal refresh team from January, I would be tracking that so that you can make sure that you rank up to senior silver this month. Like I'm assuming most of you went refresh silver last month by adding 3. And this month you just need to retain those 3 and add 6 more, or develop some of those people and hit the 50 points on your refresh team. Okay. So it's in my brain, I kind of think of it as like your own personal little reentry team, but it's like your refresh team. Okay, and then okay. So March is going to be amazing. I'm just saying. And if you're planning to go for a rank up this month, like don't let this deter you. But I know some of you are not planning for a rank up this month. You're going to plan for it for March. And so I want you, this is why I'm not going to mention a whole lot to other people on the team, because we want them pushing in the month of February. Like it's really important, and it's important for all of us to keep pushing in the month of February, because it's not like we say, oh, March is going to be huge, there's going to be amazing incentives, so we're just going to kind of coast until March hits, or until after we get back from the cruise. If we wait until after we get back from the cruise to do much, we missed the boat. Like we're going to miss out on so much. And when you're prepping for a rank up, it's not just those 30 days in that next month that you're working on, right? There's like a runway. There's a runway. There's a lead up into the rank up month. And I actually want to challenge all of you guys, if you're not going to be working on a rank up this month, to definitely be mapping out your rank up month for March. And the way to do that is to get as much recruitment as possible this month. And then I would be getting your ducks in a row with people lined up to help you rank up and to work for their own refresh bonus, their rank up bonus, or re-rank, right? Because we all have those people in those different buckets that can hit any one or maybe all 3 of those buckets, right? And so it's like super, super crucial that you're getting a strategy on paper, and that your brain is aligned with what you need by when for that. So I just want to put it on everyone's minds. Like I think March is going to be huge. I'm gonna move now to this because it's easier for me to actually make this bigger. I actually think that 100% of us could rank up in the month of March if we're willing, right? Oh, this is so crazy. I have like my phone on one. Let me move this. This is just annoying me. Okay, there we go. I'll use the audio from my phone and the visual from my computer here. Okay. So anyways, all that to say, your March rank up starts now and getting all your ducks in a row, getting people on paper, printing out your reports. And it's going to look like this. This is what I wrote down. You're going to have a bunch of little buckets or big buckets of people that are rowing, right? We need to get as many rowers in the boat rowing, even if they have only a teeny tiny little paddle. Okay. So the +1s, the silvers, those who can hit that core rank of senior silver, anyone that can go gold, super gold, which would be around 175 points, senior gold, ruby, senior ruby, obviously. And that would be rank ups, re-ranks, and refresh earners. So there's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of opportunity for everybody, right? Because not everybody that starts in our business wants to have a business, right? But that's where those +1s come in. And Angie will be the first to tell you on her rank up and my jewel rank up last year, like there was a lot of people that did a tiny bit. And that took a lot of energy from her or from me, from Brandy, from the different people on the team, getting more people to do a little bit, right? And we love when there's 10 people that recruit 10 people apiece. Like that's amazing, and we will receive that. But some rank ups aren't like that, where you have a bunch of heavy hitters that are bringing in a ton of people. And so I just want to remind us that we need to be looking at all the buckets and helping people hit their goals, whatever those goals are. So I wanted to not just hone in on February, but also talk about March too, because like we're in go season now, like down to like finishing out this month as strong as possible. And really, we don't have those extra days after the month finishes, which is fine because that can actually turn into like hot 3, hot 5 days of March, where normally we do like point cleanup and all of that. Well, we're gonna actually just roll right into March, and anyone that didn't get an order placed in February, you're gonna help them place an order. We're not waiting until March 31st, whatever, March 28th, or the very end. Like we're gonna get all of those, that bucket of people that didn't order in February, we're gonna get them to order in March. And this could be really fantastic too, because I do feel like there is like a decent amount of people not stocked up, a decent amount of our wholesale people. I'm so sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. A decent amount of people that ordered product in November, they got it in on all those Friday deals, and then we had December specials. And so I feel like people had Plexus coming out of their ears in January, which I think is why points were down a little bit in January. Some of that may be left over in February, I don't know. But I feel like by March, everybody is going to have their products used up, that stocked up, in November, and they'll be ready for a new wave of stock up products for our wholesalers too. So I feel like they're just looking at all the buckets in general. We can definitely maximize things as we finish out this month and look at next month. All right, thoughts, opinions, comments, ideas.
Those are fantastic. And here's the thing. It's not like it's anything new under the sun, but sometimes we just have to be reminded. We have to like see it in front of us again to make sure that we're, pinpointing and doing all the things 100%.
Mm-hmm. It's been good. All right, well, this was fantastical. I was looking for something real quick. Okay. I feel like these last 6 weeks have been sweet and fun, and I am totally fine. I'm totally game. If you guys want to keep meeting weekly, if it's helpful, and I'm open to thoughts and ideas. We can chat more on the cruise too, of what it can look like when we come back after the cruise. But would be game for doing another 6 weeks as we lead up into convention content, or closing out convention contest and crescendo to convention as a group. And my thought is we want to help everybody that wants to rank advance. We want to help more people become gems, and we want to help more people become jewels and diamonds. So I think there's strength in numbers, there's strength in community, and I have some ideas on even some guest speakers to be on some calls, just to be another voice, added voice and perspective.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Are you doing a call tonight, a team call or a coaching call or anything?
Yeah.
I've been searching. I can't find it. I was sharing it with a few people that aren't local to me.
Oh yeah. We said it's for golds and senior golds. And so, but anyone that in that gold chat thread, that's like, maybe they're not gold yet, but they want to be. We're not saying you have to be gold entitled to be on. If they're game for being on a call that's geared for golds and senior golds, that's totally fine. And if you have people that are like ruby or above, and they're like, well, it's a gold call, it can be for them too. It'll just be a refresher. But we just felt like it would be really helpful to kind of make our target audience, be like that gold, senior gold rank. And sometimes I feel like we're really good at like targeting, the new people and coaching the new people. And then sometimes it feels like there's just specific things that pop up when you're in that gold, senior gold space that is different than when you're, just starting out and at silver or something. So same with ruby and above.
Okay, sorry, I've been looking through the chats and I just didn't see any graphic or anything about it. And I had a couple golds that are new golds that I wanted to get in there.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on Momentum Makers group. I posted it last week, so it's maybe buried.
Oh, okay. I'll search. I'm
on
there,
Bumble.
but I'll search.
It's a picture of me and Carissa. I'll get it reposted just to make sure. I also feel like it's really hard to search in the chats or in the team pages now. Have you guys noticed that? It's like I type a keyword in and it's like super random, like it doesn't bring up the keyword posts. I'll get that reposted, Angie, so that everyone can share it. All right. All right, well, homework is promote like crazy. The shopping spree, the cruise, your travels, all the things. And because this is when people are going to, their ears and eyes are going to perk up. You're gonna intrigue the people on your team. You just never know where the people are gonna come out of the woodwork because they're seeing you live your best life. And what a unique opportunity. It's so fun. All right, girls, I'll see you on the call tonight, and I will see you this weekend at the shopping spree. So fun. All right, see you, everybody.